Hello. Well, here we are. Another workshop, another video. Let's hope this goes well. Thank you for participating in this workshop, and it was fun to set up, and I think you're going to love the products. You will receive these 5 ink pads: Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. And they are all such fun colors to use. You also will receive the Comfort and Hope stamp set. And this is a collage stamp set with collage elements. So we're going to use those to give you ideas on how to do it. And then there's several really pretty sentiments as well. But first of all, let me tell you that the new August to December mini catalog is due to go live August 4th. And so you will receive a copy of that catalog with your kit. It's got some fun holiday stuff in it. I want to show you the designer series paper that I used on several of the cards in this kit because it is such unusual paper and very pretty. The set is called In Good Taste, and one of them that you'll be using in your kit is this piece. Isn't that a pretty design? It's that Misty Moonlight, and on the back is a wood pattern. There's several wood patterns in this set. Another piece we'll be using is this stucco look. Isn't that pretty? It looks textured. It's not, but it looks textured. And then on the back is another wood pattern. So we'll be using those two. The others, this is a wood pattern, and on the back a tile. Isn't that pretty? Another tile, and another stucco, and this is with the Misty Moonlight. Very unusual, very dimensional. Another tile, and sort of a fabric pattern on the back. A woven look, and a brick on the back. Another wood looking panel wood looking piece, and another brick. Isn't that gorgeous? I can just think of so many cards I could use that for. A dark wood, and then this Magenta Madness stucco look. Another brick, small brick, and just a gray shaded piece. Another wood, dark wood, like a tree trunk, and this fabric pattern, textile pattern. Another wood, and another fabric-y piece. And last of all, this really textured fabric piece, and another really pretty Moonlight Madness or Night of Navy pattern on the back. So I wanted to show you this set. It's so unusual and so pretty. All right. I think I've got. So for this first card, we're going to do the Magnolia card first. Pretty. So let me turn this down. Hopefully I don't make you sick. Move this up. Turn it down a little closer. Alright. Okay. Hopefully that'll work. Alright. So for this, you're going to need some water, you're going to need a large paintbrush and either your aqua pen or a small paintbrush, and something pointed. The Take-A-Pick tool, the tip of the Take-A-Pick tool is wonderful, and possibly a pair of tweezers. So we're going to get started with this card, and if you'll open your kit, you're going to see a solid piece like this, the patterned paper. And what I'm going to do, I use every opportunity to I think I just lost I use every opportunity to conserve paper. And we're going to cover that up. So I'm going to cut the middle out of it using my stitched rectangles. I'm just going to cut the middle out. You can cut the middle out, or you can just leave it. So I've already cut the middle out of this one. And I'll just set the middle piece aside to use on a different project. And I went ahead and mounted this on my card base. So you can do that with your Tombow. Just go ahead and put it on your card base. Set it aside. And I have lost, how did I do that? We're going to go ahead and color our ribbon first. So open up your Magenta Madness. Well, before you open it up, turn it over, mash down in the middle with the palm of your hand, because we need to get some ink in there. I need a little more of my tabletop. Okay. Because this is what we're going to use to color our ribbon. Then you'll need a larger paintbrush. Dip it in. Get you some going in here. Oh, and a surface to paint on. And I always use phone books, old phone books. And then just run it along your ribbon. Run it along your ribbon. It doesn't take much. And then you'll just take it and set it aside. Let it dry. Do your other small one that way. I don't know what I did with it. And then take your large one. I'll find my small one here in a minute. There's always something going wrong. And then do the same thing. Paint over it. Can I see it? Paint over it. A little more water. Paint over it. Okay. Set it aside. And I guess I'm going to need to cut me another little piece because I can't find the one I cut. So, cut me another little piece and paint it. And set it aside. And we'll come back to our Magenta Madness in just a minute, but close it up for right now. Clean my brush, set it aside, and take your Misty Moonlight. Just open it up because we're going to color our gems. Here they are. So your 3 gems, you're going to color those. This is where your Take-A-Pick tool, something sharp, you can just run it underneath it, and it's adhesive on the bottom. So pick it up, turn it over on your ink pad, and mash it down a little bit to get some color on it. Pick it back up, bring it back. Do the same thing with all three. Isn't that neat how we can, what did I do? I lost one. How we can, we don't have to have the exact color. We can just color them ourselves using our ink. Let me get this back over here and do this one. I used the tweezers the first time, but I really think this works better. Color it, stick it back on there. These will dry very quickly. All right, close up your close that up for the moment. All right. So now we're going to take our image, and it is the Good Morning Magnolia. I'm actually going to move these off because they're dry, and move my gems off without losing them. And get me a clean sheet of paper. Alright, so open your Magenta Madness back up again. And this is where we're going to paint our beautiful flower. Oops, let me get this back over here so we can see it. So I'm going to use my water aqua painter, but you can use a small paintbrush. And I always keep a paper towel handy to daub with. So I'm just going to pick up some of the Magenta Madness, and I'm going to start at the base, putting the darker color down right at the base of each petal. Putting the darker color down first, just at the base of each petal. There's one tucked back there, and I always do that. I'm always getting my hand in the ink pad. Turn it this way. And right here is a petal base, and here is a petal base. And you know, I'm not real careful with this. I mean, it's watercolor, you know? Here's a petal base. Alright, here's a petal base. Now, I also want to pick up some of the dark and come in along the top of the petal. Some of the darker along the top. This just gives it some depth along the top. The top, and the top, and the top. Now I'm also going to come in and color this little piece here, the top, and this little piece that's turned over, get it a little darker. Now I'm going to water it down a little bit and just kind of brush up some. Brush the color up. So it'll still be darker at the bottom. You'll see as it dries, it'll stay darker at the bottom. It's just to move a little bit of the color up. Add a little color to it. Move a little of the color up. The higher it goes, the lighter it'll get. Close to being done. This is another petal here, so we're just going to put a little color at the bottom here, and then I'm going to go back and add a little dark right here because this is kind of flipped over too, and this is flipped over a little bit. Alright, I didn't have dark along the bottom here, so I'm going to do that and bring the color up a little bit. So you can put more color into it if you want to. You don't want to get your paper too wet, because this isn't watercolor paper. If you had watercolor paper, you could get it wetter. But so I'm just pulling color up a little bit more. All right, I think that's all I'm gonna do. Pull a little color up here. Make sure I have a little color on every petal. All right, and then I'm gonna get the color off my aqua painter, close up my Magenta Madness, and open up my Just Jade. Oh, first of all, turn it over, mash it to get some color on the lid. Open it up, and here we go. Now we're going to do our leaves. And what I do with my leaves is I come along the vein of the leaf first, and then I put some dark along the bottom. I don't color the whole thing. You can. If you feel better about it, then you go ahead. You know, it's totally up to you how you do these. We all have our own style. We all have our own preferences on what we want something to look like. So, okay, and then I've got the big one to do here. Sometimes I'll come along and do some of the veins. Usually not all of them, and not necessarily the same on each side. Now I'm going to come along, thin out my color a little bit, and just, oops, I forgot to do the bottom of that one, didn't I? And I'm just going to bring my color up a little bit. Bring the color up. Bring the color up just a little. Bring the color up. And then I missed the bottom of this, so I'm going to darken the bottom of this a little bit. It's pretty wet now, so it's... Alright, and then I'm going to put the darkest on the stem. Alright, I think that's all I'm going to do. You can see I did a little more on that one, but each one is going to look different. Alright, and then I'm going to clean my aqua painter. The last thing we're going to do, the last part we're going to paint, is the center with Bumblebee. So once again, turn it over, get a little color in the lid. You don't need much for this one. Make sure my aqua painter is clean. Get a little color, a little of the Bumblebee, put it in the center. You want it to be kind of dark. That's it. So we are done with the painting. Now we want to set this aside and let it dry just a little bit before we stamp on it. So I'm gonna set it aside up there. And I'm not doing any more painting, so I'm gonna move my telephone directory off. So next we're going to start setting up our card base. We're gonna take this piece, the mat, and we're just going to center it onto the pattern paper. Okay, so we're just gonna we're just gonna center it. There we go. See, you can't tell I cut a piece out of the middle, can you? Can't tell at all. All right, then we're going to take our flower, and I think while we're waiting for it to dry, we're going to go ahead and stamp the hello on it. Or you will actually be stamping any sentiment that you want. The hello did not come with the comfort and hope. So I chose hello because it was short and sweet. I'm going to put it right there. With my Misty Moonlight. All right, next we're going to come and stamp. It's not quite as dry as I'd like for it to be, but nonetheless, we're going to go on. We need the Misty Moonlight again because our little grid pattern is in Misty Moonlight. So this is one of the patterns in your set. It's the grid, and we're just going to lightly put a couple of those on our card. So I'm going to ink it up good, and then I'm going to stamp off because I just want it to be light. And so we'll do one at the bottom here. There. Ink it, stamp off, and do another one kind of coming up. There we go. I did it right there. That's all we're going to do. That's all we need that for. I'm going to clean it though because we'll be using this grid later. All right, that's all of the inking and stamping that we're going to do. And now we're ready to put the ribbon on. So on the back, you're going to do this corner and this corner. So on the back, you just put a little bit of adhesive and put your ribbon. You're just going to run it around the corner. I'm going to turn it and put it a little more this way. Whoops. Well, all right. I'm going to do it more this way so that I can wrap it around. Why am I making this so hard? There. And then it's going to come around here. Well, I hope you don't struggle with it like I'm struggling with it. All right, we got that one on. And now we're going to do the same thing for this bottom corner. Maybe if I run my... All right. Put it there. Run it here. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to do. All right, and now we're going to put it down. The back looks kind of yucky, but that's okay. We don't care. Oops. Still not happy with the way the ribbon went down. This is the new adhesive, and I want you to know it is so sticky. It is so super sticky. So it's a good adhesive. All right, and then we're going to center this so that we have a little bit of the mat showing on each side. All right, we got it down. For some reason it didn't stick right there. So what I'm going to do, maybe I didn't get my adhesive there. I'm just going to run a little bit of adhesive and hold it down a minute. There's always a way to fix these things, huh? All right, we're almost done. So now we're going to take our jewels and sprinkle them around. You should have adhesive on the back. Put one right there, one right there. Oops. They're not quite dry, so be careful. I messed that up. Yeah, you need to let them dry a little bit longer, I think. Let me see. How am I going to get that up? All right. Now, the bow. All right, I'm going to teach you how to do a bow. You take and you make a loop, hold it with your left hand, leave a tail. Take this, wrap it around your thumb, around that loop, and bring it through where your thumb is. Bring it through, hold both tails, hold on to that loop. Hold both tails and pull. Now you can straighten it. Pull again. Straighten it. Make it the size you want it to be. Make it look pretty. That's about, and then trim it. Oh, there's my other ribbon. So I'm going to trim it here, trim it here. Use a glue dot to put it down. Right on top, right there. All right, I'm actually going to trim it a little more, and a little more. All right. There we go. We have made our card. I messed up. I did not get it. I didn't let it dry quite long enough. So be careful with that. All right. That's card number 1. That's the hardest one. So I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to go to the decoupage card. And this one is a lot of fun because we're going to use all of the elements in our set. I'm still not happy with that. Plus, we're going to decorate or stamp the inside. And we're going to do the flap of the envelope. Now, I don't do that all the time, but I do it some of the time, and I wanted to make sure that you knew how to do it. So let's take our card, all of our materials out of the bag. One thing I need to tell you is that in my demo, I do not have the gold thread yet because it's coming in on the with the order. And you'll have gold thread in your kit, but I'm going to use this for the demo. So the first thing we're going to do, now I've already cut this piece for you. So we're going to take this piece and we're going to stamp it. And what I need for you to do is put it on your surface, and you can either use removable tape or washi tape. Something that is not very sticky. And I'm just going to pull a piece of this off. I'm going to put it on my clothes just a little bit so it won't be so sticky. I'm going to fold it and put it down here. Put my center on top of it. Do it again with my frame. Put it on my clothes to take some of the sticky off. Fold it, put it under my frame, put it right there so that I can stamp on them. All right, we're going to take our, the circle stamp in your set. And we're going to use Magenta Madness. And we're just going to stamp a circle right in the middle. And I'm going to stamp it off just because I don't like it quite so dark. So I'm going to stamp that right in the center. There we go. That's the only Magenta Madness that we're going to use on this card. So I'll close it up. We'll clean that in a minute. Alright, now we're going to take our grid and we're going to do Just Jade. And again, we're going to stamp off. Stamp off. And this just, and you want to overlap. So put some that stamp off. And come up here and put one. And stamp off. And come over here and put one. And I would put one to I didn't on this one, but I would overlap it just a little bit. Alright, I think that's all the grid that we need for now. Clean it. Back over here. And now the leaf. This is cool that it included a leaf in this set. So important. Alright, with the Just Jade, we're going to do a couple of those and a couple of the Midnight Madness. I mean the Misty Moonlight. Stamp off and put one here. Stamp off. See how dark it would be if I didn't stamp off. Put one over here. Stamp off. Put one down here. And, well, we're going to use this again in a minute, but let me get the Misty Moonlight. Clean your leaf, clean your stamp, so you don't want to mix your inks. And then we're just going to do a couple of the stamp off and do an overlap right there. Stamp off, do one down here. Overlap it. Alright, then while we have this open, we're going to take the stamp that is just the dots, not the little gem looking ones, but this one with just the dots. Put it on a block, and we're just going to stamp a few of those with the Misty Moonlight. Maybe right there. Oh, I forgot to stamp off. Right there. Yeah, I really like the stamped off look better. Stamp off right there. Alright, while we've got, we should have done the grid, while we've got this one out, we're going to go on and do a few on our sentiment piece. Stamp off. You'll be glad you did. Maybe one more. You want to do it lightly when you ink your stamp because it really gets all over it if you don't. Alright. Okay. Right now that's it for the Midnight Misty Moonlight. Let's go back to this. Get the other little stamp that is a gem. It's like a little jewel. And we're going to put some of those with the Just Jade. Stamp off, put one there. Stamp off, put one there. Maybe just one more. Put one over here somewhere, right there. And I think we'll go on and use this and just put a couple on here. It doesn't matter what color you use. It looks like I used one of the other colors before. Alright, that's good. Clean those. And this is Just Jade. Let's go on and go back to the grid and put the grid, stamp off, put the grid on here just real lightly. And we're done with the Just Jade right now until we come back and do it. Alright, so we are ready now to put a sentiment. And the sentiment I used is Sometimes There Are No Words. And that's this one right here. And let me get a block for that. It's kind of a big block, but and that's in the Misty Moonlight. I test it first, always test it, and then I use my grid marks to make sure it's lined up. Sometimes there are no words. All right. All right, now we can take this up and take your washi tape off. So we want to mount this one on this, and I'm going to use Tombow glue for that because I want to be able to position it. So I hope you can see everything. Oops, I don't want that much glue. Sometimes the Tombow glue comes out way more than I want it to. All right. I want to just position it evenly. Nice thing about the Tombow is you can move it around a little bit. All right, got it? Then we're going to take this piece, we're going to put it on this piece of cardstock. Okay. Mount it right in the center. Then you'll use dimensionals to mount it onto the card. One in the middle. Alright, here we go. Right in the middle, because you want to cover up the little edges. There we go. And take your sentiment. Before we do the sentiment, we want to put you want to use your gold thread. You can tie a bow. Let's see. Or you can just kind of loop it around down there. Make a loop at the top. Leave a tail. Wrap it around. Pull it through. Hold on to your tails and pull your loops. Only you want this one to be big. So you want it to be pretty big. This is the bad part about using this twine, is that it's not going to lay like your pretty gold thread will, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Put it down with a glue dot. Your sentiment is going to hold it down anyway. So I'm going to pull this through a little bit. I think it's the static electricity that's pulling that. Anyway, all right, put dimensionals on the back of your sentiment. Everything's sticking to my fingers. Position that over your I'll pull these back down once I get it positioned. Right in the center, you want your circle stamp to show a little bit. There we go. Put your jewels on. You have 3 jewels. Well, I tell you what, let's do this first. Let's go back to your center, your inside piece. This is your inside piece. And we're just going to stamp the inside to sort of complement the outside. So we'll do a circle with the Magenta Madness. Stamp off, do a circle in the center. Do your grids. Oh, this was the blue, so Misty Moonlight. Do a couple of those. Stamp off. Up here. Stamp off. Here. Stamp off. Down here. And then we'll do a couple more in Just Jade. Clean your stamp so you don't cross-contaminate. Stamp off. Do one there. Stamp off. Do one here. That ought to do it. And then some leaves. Let me clean them, even though I think that was the Misty Moonlight. Some leaves in the Just Jade. Stamp off. You're just going to kind of go around your wreathy looking thing. You can see mine didn't, the whole thing didn't stamp. That's okay. And I'll turn this one this way. And don't touch it. Get all of this looks like it's in Misty Moonlight. You can do whatever you want, you know. Just play around with it. But I did do the dots, and I've cleaned all those, and the jewels in the Misty Moonlight. I'm not sure why. Just the way I did it at the time. And then a few dots to add some interest. Be careful. They really it gets real inky if you're not careful. Real inky. So just tap it. Tap, tap, tap ever so lightly. You don't want to mash down. Alright, I think that's enough. Don't you? I think that's enough. Now, your sentiment, Sending Paper Hugs, is also going to be in the Misty Moonlight. So I need to clean this sentiment and get it ready to put back in. Put it back over there. Put this sentiment on. Misty Moonlight. Okay, Sending Paper Hugs. Sending you a paper hug. Whoops, my finger's sticky. And we've got one more. We're going to do the front of the envelope. And I probably wouldn't do all of this, but I wanted you to see how to do it all. So let's go back to our grid. You can do it in, I'm gonna do it in Misty Moonlight because that's what I've got open. So I'm gonna put one grid mark right there and put the circle in the Magenta Madness. Stamp off, put the circle, and a couple of leaves in the Just Jade. Leaves, better clean it. Not sure what the last thing I used was. So Just Jade, stamp off, put a leaf here, stamp off, put a leaf here. Some of these, we've got the Just Jade open, so let's just use Just Jade. A few, stamp off, stamp off, stamp off, stamp off, stamp off. That's all we're going to do. And then we will do the flap of the envelope. So in order to do it, we first take this piece and we put adhesive on it. Open it up like this. Put adhesive on your, let's do it, put adhesive here. Not a lot, just a thin stream of it. And then we'll put this down and line it up at the top. Make sure it overlaps the edges. Okay. And now we're going to stamp it. So let's use, that one's clean. So we'll use the Just Jade. Stamp off. Well, you know what we probably ought to do first is go ahead and trim it, so we know we've got it right. Just trim. Now, okay, that's all we want to do with that. Let's do the leafy thing. We're going to go ahead and fold it in now because we don't want to, well, no, I'll leave it open. Just be careful. If you just want to put your leaves in different directions and some circles, you know, we're just playing with it now. We're just playing. Stamp off, circle, stamp off, circle, stamp off, circle, and some gems. So let's see, we've got the grid in Just Jade, so let's do circles in Midnight Madness. Okay, stamp off, circles. These are the gems. Stamp off, gems. Stamp off, I think that's all I did. And then, very carefully, we're going to do these. That's all we'll do. All right. we have completely decorated our card, and now we're ready to this is the inside. I'm thinking, what in the world? So this is the inside. Okay. Put it down. Close it. We're going to go ahead and put this on and then put our jewels on. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Our jewels. There's 3. These are metallic pearls. Put one right there. Sometimes if I mess up, I put one where I messed up. But, come on. Put one right here. And put one on the come on, right there. All right. This will not be this one will not be nearly as pretty as the one with the gold. But there we go. It's all done with a beautifully decorated envelope. All right. Y'all may want to take a break and go get coffee or something. All right, and then we're on to the butterfly card. And I'm gonna move this up a little bit so maybe more of it shows. Wish I could see it. All right, so we're on to the butterfly card. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so we'll take our pieces out. This one, you've already done a decoupage now, so doing another one should not be difficult at all. So we're basically, I'm not even going to do this one with you, except for maybe the sentiment. And on the sentiment, we'll be using the Know That I Love and Care About You. Clean this one. Because you can do the decoupage any way you want to. And this is not going to be hard either. Oops. Know that I love and care about you. And it's in the Just Jade. You don't want to mash down too hard. Put it more to the right just a little bit. Then you're going to take this one and you're going to go ahead and flag it on the end. I would cut a little bit off. Can you see it? And flag it. Snip down the middle. Come in from both ends. Get it flagged. And then glue it down. To your piece and butt it up against the end. Center it. And then you can cut this down and flag it. So you don't need it. Cut it down a little more. Cut it to the center. Flag or banner, whatever you want to call it. All right. So then when you, instead of a blue or just jade, you've got a gold butterfly, and you'll just glue it on right there onto the sentiment. These pieces, you'll do your decoupaging first, and then you'll come along and glue these down. Can you see? Glue those down, glue those down. Put your two butterfly pieces together. And before you glue them down on your paper, just wing them up a little bit, and then put that right in the middle. Mount it on your mat and on your card. So that's an easy one to do. You should not have any trouble with that one. And then we're on to the last card. So this one, I went ahead and cut the center out for you. I am just not happy with the way this is doing. I cut the center out for you, the offset piece, and I stamped the deer for you. So really, all you're going to do is you're going to do your decoupaging around here, not a whole lot, and you're not going to overlap these. So let's say we do, and on this one you get to use this fun, what is it called, houndstooth? So it's in the Just Jade, and again you stamp off and do this one right up here, off a little bit, and then the grid, stamp off and do it right over here. It just gives it, I don't know, a little bit of interest. And then the leaves right there. And maybe another leaf on the bottom, maybe over here, right there. Then you're going to go ahead, you'll decoupage this piece, and then you're going to put dimensionals on the back of this. You're going to put this piece down on your card base, and then put dimensionals on this piece and offset it and put it like right there. Then you're going to come along, and you will need to cut your cinnamon cider piece in half. Cut your cinnamon cider piece in half so that you'll have one on each end. You'll come along and you're going to center these and glue them down. You might want to play around with them first so you can get them looking the way you want them. And glue them down. And your other cinnamon cider piece over here. You're going to glue them down, stamp your cinnamon piece, and I would say stamp it with sending you a paper hug. Put it down, use dimensionals, put it down on top of that. Use this, double it, double it. And in fact, you can take your bone folder and straighten this out. You can straighten out your, hold it down, pull it through. See, it's already straightened it out quite a bit. Do the other side, hold it down, pull it through. Oops. Hold it down, pull it through, get it straight, then double it and do the very same thing that we did before. Start here, leave a tail, make a loop. You're going to do a double bow. Bring it around your thumb to the back of the loop and then pull it through that hole. Hold your tails and make a bow. And then you'll want to make it the size you want it to be. Pull it here a little bit. Tighten it up. Trim it. Trim that, and that. Put it on the bottom. You'll have to trim it some more. Put it right there. And you'll have your card made. You've got your 3 gems. And put them on. And you are set to go. That should do it. It's a long video, but you can stop and start all you want. So, God bless. Let me leave you with a Bible verse. Where'd my Bible verse go? Oh, dadgum. Where'd it go? I had it right here. Well, so much for leaving me with a Bible verse. Oh, here it is. Under my adhesive. Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. It's a discouraging time because we can't be together. We can't be with loved ones like we want to be. We can't hug. But be strong and courageous. Love you. Bye-bye.